Hello, and welcome to Wine and Reason. Wow, this light is bright and revealing a lot of things, like the fact that I really need to dye my hair. It's time. Yeah, the roots are back. I'm also getting a zit. What is that? I am 42 years old. Younger ladies in the chat, older ladies in the chat, you're just gonna giggle and be like, yeah. I'm in this weird place at 42 where I can still get zits and occasionally have premenopausal, because women in my family tend to hit menopause early, premenopausal things. Like right now, I'm really hot. Now it's not a full-on hot flash, but our air conditioning is running nonstop, and I cannot stop schwitzing on my face. Anyway, did you want to hear about that? Is that why you're all here? No, that's not why you're here. But I hope it was entertaining and gave some time for anyone else to show up. So who do we have in the chat? We've got all the cool kids are here. Oh my gosh, we got okay, this is in no particular order. I'm just gonna scroll up and then scroll back down. All right, so we got Math Pig, Oink Hogfather, there you go. We got Critical Cripple, woof. Oh, Dave, you were second. I'm shocked. No, hugs, Dave, love you. Crazy Catnip, hey darling. Let's see, Aunt Jur, you were awesome on News to Me. You were great, so well done, and it was nice to hear your voice. I also loved the cat picture with the cat mouth open. That was that was perfect. That was the perfect choice for an avatar. So well done there. Not that you need my approval. I just really liked it. Let's see. Ricardo Oliveira. Hello, my dear friend. Let's see. I know I saw someone else. Oh, and my wonderful partner, Junk Shop Library, is in the chat. Hello, darling. Doc Fearsome. Hey. Lone Wanderer is here. And is that everybody? Is that everybody? Mark Caesar, hello. Mama Atheist, oh, hugs to the grumble. I get it. I'm about to bitch about some stuff, so maybe this will help. Let's see. Oh, Godless Granny is here. Godless Granny, y'all, tonight at 7. I hope you don't mind, Granny. I'm just going to chill for you for 2 seconds. Tonight at 7, Godless Granny is having an amazing panel. The beautiful, accomplished, and comely Junk Shop Library will be there, but also him at Meta will be there. I just got glared at. I think I over-complimented. Him at Meta, there's no such thing. I can compliment you as much as I want. I have a piece of paper that legally says so. Okay, so him at Meta will be there. The Friendly Atheist. Oh my gosh. Oh, Cynthia McDonald will be there, and she is amazing. This lady has forgotten more about American history than I ever learned. She's amazing. Oh, and I'm forgetting someone important. Granny, let me know who I'm forgetting in the chat so I can tell them. Brain Bug, I hope that everything and all is well with the hive. It's always good to see you, my dear friend. Godless Sewing. Hey, Godless Sewing got interviewed by Santi the Sane on Santi's channel today, or is going to. I honestly don't know what time that's supposed to happen, and I assume that you're in the chat because it's not conflicting. I was worried about it conflicting. Easism Works. Very soon, I'm going to start doing edited videos, and Easism Works very, very kindly, because I can't draw and don't have good artistic skills in the art, in the traditional art way of things, drew me an absolutely amazing, badass logo, and I'm so grateful. Thank you, Ease. You're awesome. All right. So let's see. Oh, the Lone Wanderers. Oh, I said that already. I love you, Lone. Geo Sam is here. Hey, man. What's up? Captain Kimothy is here. Captain Kimothy will be joining me later at 5 p.m. to discuss we have a special bonus episode today, which I needed to tell you guys about. Anyway, thank you, Kim. So Captain Kimothy will be joining me to discuss reproductive rights activism. and what that looks like, where we are with that. We're going to hopefully dispel some myths about abortion and about choice, and also maybe raise some awareness about how badly these rights are being eroded. And if you have Hulu and you watch the TV show Mrs. America, that's set in the 60s and set in the 70s mostly, and you're watching all of these women, you know, fighting for Roe v. Wade, fighting for the Equal Rights Act, the ERA, and the other women who fought against the ERA. It really is truly fascinating, and it shows you this weird moment where so many of these women are on opposite sides of a political issue, but they come round to this weird place where their core values are the same. Like, both sides want what they believe is best, most of them, for themselves and for other women they know. It's just that they disagree on what qualifies as best, or you know, what qualifies as the rights we need to have, and that sort of thing. So if you have Hulu and want to check that out, I highly recommend it. I also I said Geo Sam was here. My goodness, I am already off topic. Hissy, hey darling. Hissy from Hissy's Hideaway is here. That's super cool. Okay. Oh, Mark Caesar says, screw the video editing. That shit takes way too long. Yeah, I know. The reason I want to do it, oh, thanks, love. The reason I want to do it is because I recently, hi Amiga Nuts, if I didn't shout you out, hi. If y'all don't know already, I recently started a Patreon because I got laid off, and I feel bad. I feel weird. I feel guilty about it because, you know, so many people are struggling right now, and, you know, we're lucky. We have a good support system. You know, my mother has called me like 18 times to tell me, like, to let her know if we need any money. She's like, I don't want anyone going hungry. And I'm like, nobody's going hungry, Mom. It's all right. You know, they just have to keep reassuring her that we, you know, that we're okay for now, and that I will absolutely take her money when I need to, if I need to. Hopefully I won't. So, but the job searching right now is rough. And I imagine it's because there's like 3 million unemployed people in America right now. Or more than 3 million. Jeez, it's a lot. Anyway, somebody fact check me on that. I shouldn't just say things. That's not what I was prepared to say. I was prepared to say that my hair is gigantic because I washed it and it's humid and I live in Memphis. I'm not entirely certain if I put on deodorant this morning or not, but I am clean, so that's good. So moving on to things that are not about my personal appearance. I mentioned I have a Patreon. There's a link in the description. It's www.patreon.com/wine&reason with AND spelled out, because Patreon does not like the ampersand. I guess they have a thing against ligatures. Maybe can I say it? That's right. As an English nerd, it may be sad, but it's okay. And I do really need to shout out my very first patron ever is in the chat right now, and that's the Lone Wanderer. Thank you so much. It means so much. Thank you. My second patron ever is A Bit of Tea in Danish. So if you are not subscribed to A Bit of Tea in Danish and you're not watching Linda's channel, you're missing out, because she and her husband are adorable and they build these Lego sets and all of this cool stuff. And just check out A Bit of Tea in Danish. It's amazing. She's amazing and a lovely human being. Okay. All right. So thanks to the patrons. Did that. Mentioned Lone Wanderer and Linda specifically. Did that. Oh, unrelated book corner. Unrelated. This is completely unrelated from the topic today, which I will get to very soon. But unrelated book. Our copy, our hard cover signed copy of Confessions of a Former Fox News Christian by our very own, and I say our as in atheist activist, our very own Seth Andrews arrived, and I have judiciously covered up Junk Shop's real first name so that I can show you that he signed it to us. And what gorgeous penmanship. I mean, damn. Also, if you want the audiobook, and I think the Amazon link is in the description as well. If you want the audiobook, because you all know this man has the sexiest voice in atheism. Sorry, guys. Love all of you. But, whew, Seth's voice. Come on. If we could bottle that shit. Anyway, he read the audiobook himself. So, yeah. Might be worth getting. I can also highly recommend. I've also read his book Deconverted. It was awesome. I highly recommend it. And his book Ghost Stories that he put out as an audiobook, because it's all got all kinds of sound effects and really cool extras in there in the sound. That has become a Halloween tradition at our home. Like we listen to it once a year and we love it. So yeah. All right. So that was Unrelated Book Corner. Tonight, Kim and I will have related to the topics, to the topic books that we'll be talking about, and we will have links to those as well. Okay. So now, here's what happened. Wait a minute. I have been listening to a lot of My Favorite Murder lately. If you haven't heard of that, it's a podcast. It's not glorifying murder. It's actually, if you haven't heard of it, check it out. It's amazing and it's great. But yeah, so My Favorite Murder. One of the two ladies, the ladies who host it are Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstark. And Georgia Hardstark is always talking about how she drinks canned wine. And it just, if you like wine, sometimes you'll hear about a new wine delivery system. At least for me, and that just gets stuck in my head. Wine delivery system. Just hook up one of those like gerbil bottles with the moving ball. I could just do that and it'd be fine. Do not screenshot that and use it for something gross, please. I should not have done that. Okay. Now someone's gonna do that. Anyway, so this is Underwood Pinot Noir. This is a free commercial. They aren't paying me anything for this, but it's quite delicious. And I want to point out, you have to be careful with these because while it does have notes of raspberry, cherry, and chocolate, and it does, it's a lovely Pinot, actually. A can of wine this size, which basically just looks, it's the same size as a can of beer, but it's the equivalent in terms of bartending of 2.5 glasses of wine. So you don't pop one of these and chug it. There's a bit going on here. Okay. Julie LaVoice. Oh, no, don't. Damn it. All right. Well, I set it up. You knocked it down, Lone Wanderer. It's only fair. An intravenous drip would work for you. Nice, Mark. All right. So, all right. So everyone knows that prescription companies in the U.S. are insane. There is the moral equivalent. Well, I don't feel like I can't say that. There are a few big pharma companies, right? Often referred to collectively as big pharma. And this is not a conspiracy theory. I'm not going anywhere weird like that. This is just kind of facts, but there are companies that have the majority of the patents on a lot of medications, and that includes generic medications as well as brand new medications. And by the way, if you don't know this, you should know this. I'm not going to shotgun it, Crazy Catnip. Oh, don't shotgun it. Yeah, don't shotgun it. I'm sorry. Here we go. Word of warning from the very wise Crazy Catnip. Yes, I apologize. I thought you said shotgun it. I missed the first word. Okay, first 2 words. Alrighty, so here's the problem. New drugs, unless there just is not a generic available yet, they're no better than the old drug. Basically, to renew a patent on a drug, a company has to release a new version, which means they have to tweak the formula very, very slightly. But it's going to be, for the majority of people and for all intents and purposes, unless it's the difference between like a pill that you swallow or a pill that can like dissolve under your tongue or something like that, it's going to be exactly the same as the generic version. So what? So I'm sorry, people are saying hilarious things about chugging wine in the chat. I love it. Keep it. It's awesome. Thank you guys. You made me feel better. And everybody knows that the American healthcare system, if you don't have insurance, our whole insurance thing, it sucks. But if you don't have insurance, you can be screwed. I mean, I knew a guy who had a very lucky neck break. That sounds bizarre, but he broke his neck when he was 18, was not paralyzed, which is miraculous. You know, for lack of a better word, miraculous. Actually, I should say the doctors did that. But he had to go through a couple of surgeries, and he was in traction, immobile, for 6 months to maintain the integrity of his spinal cord while the break healed. He was 18 years old. This is before you could have your kids on your insurance longer. This is before Obama. So he'd just been kicked off his parents' insurance before the accident that broke his neck happened. When I met him, we were working at the same pizzeria for minimum wage, or just, I think maybe I was making like a dime more an hour or something because I've been there for so long. But it was essentially minimum wage, and he was $1 million in debt at 19. And it's like, you know, that should not happen in any civilized country. You shouldn't have to pay to stay alive or to heal or to keep yourself alive or someone you love alive. It's absolutely, or to improve your quality of life, which is where I'm going now. That's a nice segue into, and I have Junk Shop's permission to tell you all about this. But so Junk Shop's prescriptions came in. They get, you know, automatically, you know, the doctor calls them in, they get refilled, and then the pharmacy like text messages us, right? Very cool. Lovely 21st century technology. I love it. But there was a notice on this text message that we hadn't seen before, because the last time I was at the pharmacy, I told them, I was like, hey, I just got laid off. My insurance ended on the 24th of August. I'm not insured. And so then I paid $91 for 3 months worth of generic cholesterol medicine and had a tiny heart attack. Last night, Junk Shop had a tiny heart attack. By the way, tiny heart attack is not real. This just means freaked out. Had a tiny heart attack when they looked at their phone and saw that the estimated cost for their psychotropic meds, one of which is an anticonvulsant, seizure medication, would be $3,000. Sorry, just saying it makes the blood drain from my face. Okay. It's like I'm hot and chilled at the same time. It's so disturbing. So in a panic, we went on the marketplace last night, which, if you're, again, I think just about everybody, Lone Wanderer is not, and Mark Caesar's not, but love y'all, and Hissy's not, actually. Okay, so, hey, for those of you not from the States, we went on the marketplace to buy a private insurance plan, that was actually created by President Obama to go along with the Affordable Health Care Act. And it's because if we'd gone through COBRA, which is the thing that lets you, it's basically supplementary insurance for when you're between jobs, but it's also almost $3,000 for 2 months. And the thing is, we needed to get 3 months worth of Junk Shop's prescriptions, which would have been $3,000. So COBRA is ridiculously, prohibitively expensive and unnecessary. So we went on the marketplace. We found a good plan that works for us, reasonable, everything. We can even see our specialists for a low copay, and it's going to be all right. But it was a tense couple of hours of filling out the application. I had to go snail mail some documents, some copies of some documents from my work that, you know, show that exactly when states precisely when we lost our health care coverage. And also, if you have gotten laid off in the US or lost your job and you need to get some health insurance, you need to do it before 60 days have passed. You don't want to let 60 days go between you losing your insurance and going to the marketplace. And the link to their website, the .gov website, is also in the description. So, after hearing from my amazing spouse and seeing the intense worry and just right out fight or flight response that they had to this $3,000 situation, I decided to look up some things. And I'm not going to lie, I used Wikipedia. I also left some links in the chat. And we're going to check that out, the why of things, here in just a moment. Mark Caesar asked an excellent question. Why is the U.S. so against universal health care and subsidized meds? The rest of the civilized world has embraced them. I know, man. Why do we still have capital punishment and everyone else doesn't? God damn. Okay. It's very, oh, wow. Also, I forgot my usual disclaimer. If you're under 18 and or not watching this with a parent or guardian, I need you to get the fuck out, because I do things like smoke and drink wine and curse on this channel. So if you're under 18 and your mom, dad, or guardian isn't there, you need to go. Okay. We can talk the day you turn 18. Please come follow my channels. That'd be great. Okay. So yeah, part of it is cultural, Mark, and it's the lie that was sold to Americans right after World War II, when we realized that the Russians were our allies and the allies of Mark's country and of everybody, anyone from New Zealand and Australia and Great Britain and France and, all the countries that stood up against, we got there late, but we got there eventually. I know y'all were like, really? Where have you been? Yeah, so we got sold this false narrative after World War II. And it was that, okay, we put down fascism. That was the enemy. The new enemy is going to be communism. And so it became, a lot goes along with that. Part of it is this national identity, of which nationalism is always bad, y'all, of freedom, which is a nebulous concept, right? Personal freedom, what does that mean? I've always thought it to mean that I can do, in terms of freedom of speech and freedom of expression, I can do whatever I want, but that freedom ends at the tip of your nose. My freedom to do anything I want ends at it not impinging upon your rights and your freedoms. So people to go back to Mark's question, sorry, I know that was a bit of a ramble, but to go back to your question, Mark, people in the U.S. think that national health care is socialism. They look at Canada and there's a lot of lies, just flat out lying about it, even in the media. And well, shocker, right? But I mean, still, I've had friends who were nurses say, you don't want nationalized health care. You know how long you have to wait for a kidney in Canada? And I was like, do you know how long a dear friend of mine had to wait for her son to get a heart transplant? I mean, yeah, you have to wait. We're not just harvesting from live people. What are you talking about? Well, with kidneys you actually can, but that's a big gift. I would do that. I wouldn't do that for just anybody. Yeah, so it's just again, it's this false narrative. They associate, I say they, by they, I mean conservatives and a lot of Republicans. Republicans have become, it's weird because they say they are the party of less government, right? Less government in your life, more local government, less big federal government, right? But that historically has not worked out very well for a lot of us. You know, it took the Civil Rights Act and years of changing the culture to catch up with the Civil Rights Act to truly, or as much as we can and have, hey Maya, end segregation in the South, for example. It's taken, basically, most of the time, there are large swaths of the country that are culturally behind where federal laws end up. And that just seems to be something we deal with. I know. I actually, yeah, I actually agree. Yeah, it sucks that he's not in the running anymore. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. That was an accident. Yeah, he didn't even come in first in my state, but, and we could, okay, we could talk about, we'll spend a whole episode on the electoral college sometime, and we'll get all into that. Oh, here we go. Maya, this is good. My fellow American friend here. It's great. More people should die, so fewer people have to wait for certain services. Big brain thoughts there. Yes. Beautiful use of sarcasm, Maya. Thank you. Well said. If y'all don't know Maya Atkinson, she's amazing. But yeah, it's absolutely awful. And people literally do, like right now, okay, for example, we have an insulin problem. We have people who have lost their jobs, like me. They can't afford their insulin. They're diabetic and they're insulin dependent. So they are either rationing their insulin, which is very dangerous and very bad for you, or they're skipping doses altogether, which is also very dangerous and very bad for you. So just to give you some numbers here, the cost, there is an entire Wikipedia page entitled prescription drug prices in the United States. Now it does need to be cleaned up. It's got some key points that are not adequately summarized and a couple of things like that. So, prescription drug prices, quote, in the United States continually rank among the highest in the world. And again, that's for the profits of drug companies. That's all that is. And it's obscene. It's obscene. You can go bankrupt here if you have cancer. You can go bankrupt if you, anyway, okay. Some of the highest priced drugs include, oh gosh, and they're talking about, I don't even know what drug this is, Lumizyme. That's $630,000, $630,159 per patient. That was in 2015. And a single dose of Zolgensma was 2.1 million in 2019. Now, I don't know. Hang on. Let me look this up really quickly. This is enzyme replacement therapy for the treatment of Pompe or Pompe disease. So I am not familiar with that. That's really weird. That was the first one. Zolgensma is, wow. Oh, it's a gene therapy medication used to treat spinal muscular atrophy. Damn. All right. So going back to, people who need anti-seizure medication, like a nephew of mine who's epileptic, and like I do as an off-brand mood stabilizer, and as Junk Shop does. Let's see. In 2003, a Republican majority Congress created Medicare Part D, which prevented Medicare, the country's largest single-payer healthcare system, from negotiating drug prices. In effect, drug manufacturers in the U.S. were allowed to set their own resulting in the unregulated pricing variation for prescription drugs. And that right there is kind of the crux of the problem. In 2005, the Government Accountability Office examined the U.S. drug retail prices from January 2000 through December 2004 and found the average usual and customary, or UNC, prices for a 30-day supply of 96 drugs frequently used by people enrolled in Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is one of the most common, one of the biggest insurance companies. Federal employee programs had increased 24.5%. Oh my God. Okay. And those are people with drugs. Now, not with drugs, with insurance. In 2007, the AARP, and that's the American Association of Retired Persons, published a series of studies showing that prescription drug prices have been rising significantly faster than general inflation. So, yeah. But the American Enterprise Institute, which is a conservative think tank, criticized the methodology as overstating drug price inflation. So they tried to suppress AARP's study by saying, it's not that bad. In 2010, we tried to get the Affordable Health Care Act, right? Which was passed, but which the current president has been gutting ever since it was passed. And I could just, oh man, I hate looking at this person's face. Okay. So a little bit on the Affordable Health Care Act. In 2010, the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, commonly known as Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act, was created. The goal was to increase the number of people who had health care in the United States and reduce the impact that individual healthcare spending had on households, especially since many Americans had lost their health insurance coverage in the Great Recession. So it was great. It was, yep. Okay, so they tried. A December 2015 New York Times editorial opined that, quote, drug prices have been pushed to astronomical heights for no reason other than the desire of drug makers to maximize profits, pointing in particular to strategies by Turing Pharmaceuticals and Valiant Pharmaceuticals for rights to make and sell generic drugs, which had administrative exclusivity, but that needs further citation. Okay, so we had a situation where, all right, hang on. In April 2018, a divided panel of the United States Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit found that the Maryland law violated the Dormant Commerce Clause, wow, I can't read today, of the United States Constitution. Okay, so basically they were trying to sue drug companies for increasing their prices, and that did not, let's see. Okay, that actually went well in Maryland. So here's the thing. Examples of affected medications include epinephrine auto-injectors, which are for people with asthma, and insulin, right? So these are very common drugs that people need. And what we've seen is prices on these drugs going up, like, to really frightening degrees. And I thought I had some numbers here somewhere. Let's see. Just talk amongst yourselves. 1 second. Sorry. Okay, so a 2015 survey by the National Center for Health Statistics found that 8% of Americans did not take their medications as prescribed to save money. And yeah, we've done similar studies. Also, people who are young tend to not take their meds or get their meds or go to the doctor because they don't have health insurance and they can't afford it. So people 18 to 35, much more likely to skip doses, which is fine unless you're diabetic or unless you're epileptic or have some other ongoing serious health problem like mental illness. And this is part of the problem too, is that psychotropic drugs are ridiculously expensive and absolutely necessary. People love to victim shame the mentally ill. They love to go, well, that person's on the street because they won't take their meds. Well, find out if they could fucking afford their meds before you condemn them. Because antipsychotics are not cheap. Mood stabilizers are not cheap. Anti-anxiety meds, not cheap, and a controlled substance. So if they don't have proper ID, if they don't have an address, and certainly if they don't have insurance, what are they going to do? How are they going to get their meds? And this is a problem. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Thank you, Jen. I absolutely agree. And I would so pay more in taxes for it. Take whatever you want. Take all the taxes you need. That would be amazing. Hey, Microraptor. Hey, Jen. Yeah, I really, it was, to answer Microraptor's question, isn't Obamacare a step towards universal health care? It absolutely was, and it was going quite well. And then Trump was elected. And and when he was first elected, if you remember, up until the primaries, the Republicans had control of the executive branch, the executive branch, Congress, and the Senate. Now they have control of, they lost control of the Congress, which is great. It's a democratically controlled Congress, but they still have the Senate and they still have the executive branch. And so the problem there is that anything coming from the Congress can absolutely be vetoed or be voted down in the Senate. And that will continue to happen as long as Mitch McConnell is the Speaker for the Senate. Because he is in lockstep with the Republican Party, always has been, and does not give a shit. They don't care how many people die because they can't get their meds. They don't care. Or at least he doesn't. I'm not going to put that on every senator. I really want to, but I'm not going to. That wouldn't be fair. But I've read and seen enough. I've watched him speak and read enough about him that I can say in good conscience that he does not care. Drew. Ooh, I'm going to pull this up. Sounds good. Okay. Type 1 diabetes, hyperthyroidism, and bipolar disorder. It's so lovely to hear people stigmatize or joke about my moods because I'm still working on learning to level out. Granted, oh, I'm sorry, that went longer. I've been making good progress. Hey, Drew, that's awesome, man. And you, I hope it's cool that I pulled that up. Drew is amazing. He is an awesome human being. You know, you can call me anytime with that, right? Because I'm bipolar too, buddy. I get it. And it's rough. It's rough. Especially if you don't have your moods, your mood stabilizers, your meds. I said moods instead of meds. Are you guys excited yet? Okay. Ooh, yeah, I'm pulling this up. It's so bizarre that people are cool with their employer taking a chunk out of their paychecks for insurance, right? But don't want higher taxes. It's the same money. Yes. Timothy, you are absolutely correct. It's the same freaking money. What is the deal? Oh, mine too, Drew. And good on you for finding one. Yeah. A lot of insurance companies in the U.S. also don't cover therapists. They usually cover psychiatrists, but they often do not cover therapists. So a lot of therapists run sort of sometimes they'll do a sliding scale. I know I've got a really good therapist. It's kind of fascinating with the telecommuting. My therapist is in Texas, but I'm in Tennessee, but we telecommunicate just like this once a week. And the day that I told him that I'd been laid off, he said, okay, I'm going to send you a couple of forms. I just need you to fill them out and sign them and email them back to me. And I did that. And suddenly like, $60 was knocked off the price of my, of each, weekly session. So that was great because therapy is good. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So, and what really makes me angry about this as well is that mental health and mental illness are stigmatized far too much in American society already. Like people they want to blame every school shooting. And I'm sorry, we have so many of those. And I'm not saying that some people who shoot up a school aren't mentally ill, and I'm not saying they don't have problems, but there's also just some evil folks out there. So, you know, we have to take that case by case. Yeah. Aw, thank you. I'm always excited to see you, Catnip. Oh, Engine. I'm always excited to see all of you. But you got to take that on a case by case basis. You know, it's not going to be. Some people do it out of conviction, like that young man who had become a white supremacist because he went down a weird internet rabbit hole, and I guess needed to feel better than other people, and then murdered people in a historically black church during a prayer meeting. He just walked in with a gun and shot a bunch of people. Yeah. Thank you, Hissy. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Depression makes you not want to get off the couch. It doesn't make you shoot people. So yeah, I don't, yeah, it makes me angry. And the fact that they want to hang that, I mean, I have a relative, not going to say who, I have a relative who is so into his right to have an AR-15 that, or a Kalashnikov. I'm not entirely sure what the difference is, and I'm not sure which one he has. So, but you know, the big scary gun, right? The kind that they built for like laying siege to cities. He is so into his right to have one of those that he actually posted on social media once that there needed to be a government list of every mentally ill person in the United States because we needed to watch them so they wouldn't misuse their gun ownership rights. And I was like, motherfucker, why not just get rid of the big scary guns? You can still hunt with a hunting rifle. You can't kill 40 people in under 5 minutes with a hunting rifle. Like you can still feed. I mean, I live in a place where people still hunt, and it is part of how they feed their family. So I respect that, but you don't need a semi-automatic weapon to do that. Let's take a pump action shotgun. You're fine. If you can't hit a deer with a pump action shotgun with a decent sight on it, maybe hunting's not your thing. All I'm saying. Well, that is fair. Yes. Yes, Slim Wanderer. Yes. Depression can make you angry. And it absolutely can lead to playing, woof. Oh, wow. Oh, I'm so sorry. That is terrible, Hissy. Yikes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree. Jen says gun reform should be a no-brainer. Yeah, I know. I completely agree. And it makes less sense now than it ever did because we have murder robots. We have drones that can bomb you from the sky. So what militia are you going to join to keep the government from becoming too tyrannical? Because that's what's in our Constitution. It's this notion that, you know, but it was before we had an army and a navy and an air force, and I'm not going to say the other one. And it's absolute insanity. Yeah. Oh, lots of hugs happening in the chat. I absolutely agree. Thank you, Godless Granny. Thank you. I always feel like I'm walking a fine line on that one. I don't like guns. I like knives. I like swords. They're just cool. So don't bother me. I have lots of those. But excuse me. But yeah, I don't like them. I am a good shot. I grew up in the South. I have fired a gun. I'm a good shot. My dad and one of my brothers were both Army sharpshooters. We do seem to be good at it, but I shot a clip and a half, and then I put the weapon down and had a panic attack, and I haven't shot a gun since. I don't like it. Oh, this is gonna, okay, y'all, trigger warning. I'm gonna bring up something about the Pulse shooting, okay? So Andrew says, from what I understand, the Pulse shooter was on and off the FBI watch list, but was still able to purchase guns. Yes, that happens a lot. That also happened with that happened with another shooter. And people were actually calling in and tipping off the FBI about, oh, dang it. I can't remember where. Okay, not important. Stick with this one. Where's these background checks the gun people keep saying we have? I honestly don't know. My only thought about that answer is that they're not happening or they're not being done properly. Because, I mean, to get a job in an office, I had to wait 2 weeks for them to do a professional background check, and I had to pee into a cup for a drug test. But apparently, you can be on an FBI watch list and or have people calling in to the FBI, giving them your name and saying, hey, this guy has been talking about shooting up a school, and they'll sell you a gun the night before you go to shoot up a school. That has happened. Yeah. And this is also important, Micro. The U.S. Army is bigger than the next 5 biggest armies combined. No militia is going to stop that. And thank you. And that's what all of my lovely redneck brothers and sisters need to get through their freaking heads. It's like, I know y'all like playing soldier out in the woods when you go duck hunting, but what do you really think you're accomplishing, and what could you possibly accomplish? If our military decided to do a coup, like a military coup, we're fucked. I mean, we just have to go along with it and try not to get shot. You know, everybody would be trying to go to Mexico or Canada, which would be, how amazing would it be if white American citizens were trying to seek asylum in Mexico? Oh, the irony. It's delicious. If that were to happen. Okay. Oh, gosh. Yeah, it is, Jen. It's tricky depending on, it just is, yeah. And there's no way, it's very difficult to do. For me, it's difficult to do. Anyway, yeah, it's very undignified. It makes you feel a little dehumanized. And it's a bit weird, too, because the only drug that's going to stay in your system, like, if you're smart, you're looking for a job, you're not going to do any drugs that leave that fun drugs, you know, that leave your system within like 48 to 72 hours. You're not going to do those right before your drug test. So what they're really looking for there is, have you used marijuana in the past month? And I happen to live in one of those states where marijuana is still illegal. So, Mexico should build a wall. Yeah, I often think so. Except that, I mean, no, that's hilarious, Mark, and props to you. That's funny. But yeah, we have a lot of, sorry if you can hear that, you guys. Apparently the guys are working on the landscaping outside. They usually do it earlier than this. So apologies if you can hear that horrible whirring noise. Okay, so I wanted to throw, I'm sorry, I had a train of thought there, but it got derailed. Let me, all right, so we have another problem. Not another problem, but I'm sorry, more evidence for this, or what the effects are. Okay, so prescription non-compliance and health effects, essentially. Now, for me, I have a pretty good idea of what that would look like. I am the meds that I take to control my bipolar disorder and generalized anxiety disorder and my panic attacks. I am dependent on them to a degree. So there's a bit of physical withdrawal, not horrific physical withdrawal, not too bad, but it's not fun. It's like going 3 days without a cigarette if you're a heavy smoker or something. But the part that is difficult is that if I had to just stop taking my meds, like tomorrow, okay, and an example of this is kind of leads into what Kim and I are going to be talking about tonight, into reproductive rights. Now, I do everything I am physically allowed to do. I'm not allowed to be on hormone birth control anymore because of my age and because I get migraines and it increases your risk of heart attack and stroke and things like that. So I'm not allowed to be on the pill anymore, but I do everything I can to avoid getting pregnant, and been lucky so far. Been lucky since I was 17, so I haven't gotten. You could take that two ways. Anyway, point is, my fear, one of my greatest fears right now, is becoming pregnant in the current climate, because two of the meds that I take, they tell you, like, in detail in the literature that comes with them, this is not, hey, Paul, good to see you. This is not for anyone who is pregnant, and because it can cause birth defects and all of this other stuff. So not having access to a safe procedure is terrifying to me, because like I said, I do everything I can to prevent it. And I've managed to prevent it for a very, very long time, several decades. Good on me. But things happen, right? So, yeah, it's scary not to have that safety net. Okay, but back to prescription meds being ridiculously expensive. Okay, so 2006, I'm sorry, no. The study I want to cite said that, quote, U.S. consumers pay prescription drug prices anywhere from 4 to 10 times more than other countries, even if they are more advanced or industrialized, the other countries. And that prescription drug prices have increased twice as much as the inflation rate over the last 12 years. So essentially, we're getting to a point in our society where, for example, a quarter of Americans taking prescription drugs said in June 2015 they had not filled a prescription in the past 12 months due to cost, and 18% reported they cut pills in half or skipped doses, according to a Kaiser Family Foundation survey. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's terrible. And anytime anyone says the money isn't there, bullshit. Yes, it is. It is there. Look at our military spending. You know, take less than half of 1% from what we spend on our military, and you could fund. Okay. This is not a quote. Don't have a source for this. But I think you could fund a national healthcare system on just a fraction of what our military costs. That's what I should say. I shouldn't say take a certain percentage, because I don't know exactly what it would be, but it wouldn't be that much. We are still a superpower. We're still scary. Mostly, I don't know. I don't want to be from the scary country. I want to be from the country that does good things, but it's rough now. Oh, that's very sweet. I'm not going to pull this up, but I am going to say that someone put in the chat, my partner getting the snip was one of the most romantic things he's ever done for me. That's very cool. Agreed. All right. Don't do this. It's stupid. Okay. So, yep, I talked about the high cost of everything. We are coming up on the hour. And, and yes, it looks like there's a conversation about vasectomies happening in the chat. Yes, they can. Yeah. Okay, you guys have talked about that. Okay, you've settled it. Cool. Good. All right. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Maya. That's what I wanted and didn't have. Maya points out we make our own money. If they can give away $3 trillion to keep the stock markets afloat, they can tell insurance companies we want the rates the other industrialized countries pay. Absolutely. They can tell that to the pharmaceutical companies. They could set up a national healthcare system where I didn't have to, where we didn't have to pay copays and other charges and get weird bills from hospitals where one hospital might charge you $12 for one service and another one charges $1,200. That has happened. It's absolutely bizarre. And then to tie this into religion as well, God help you if you're having a miscarriage and you're in a Catholic hospital. Because until the fetus is completely dead, they won't do anything. They won't give you a DNC. Because they consider that to be a form of abortion as long as the fetus is still technically alive. So you can be losing a child or losing a fetus. The story I heard about this was specifically one story that I heard about this was from a young woman who wanted her child. So in her mind, it was a baby, and that's completely fair. But she started miscarrying. So she went to a Catholic hospital 3 separate times, once with a fever and a clear infection. And they kept sending her home. It wasn't until the 3rd time where they were like, okay, it's finally dead. We'll do a DNC. She could have died in the meantime. She was running a ridiculously high fever. It's obscene. And before you say, why didn't she just go to a different hospital? It's because she didn't have access to one. Because of our healthcare and insurance system. I can only go to doctors who are on my insurance plan. If I go outside of the paid provider thing, then it's toast. Hissy asks, how about the sanctity of life? Honestly, the rhetoric over here at this point, and Hissy, I agree with you, and I know where you're coming from with that. But yeah, it's the thing is that the political right over here has a tendency to value the life of the unborn over the life of the mother. And that's something else that I think Kim and I will talk about tonight, because of some of the things that she's experienced just being on the front lines of activism and things that politicians have said to her. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. It's and, not in. Yeah, it's a D and C. Thank you, Godless Granny. Yeah, I did not say that well. It's like when someone says D and D and it irritates me because I'm like, no, it's and. But what are you gonna do? Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you for that. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. My Atkinson is right, because they do not care about children once they're out of the womb. They don't care. They don't want. These are the people who are also for cutting any kind of SNAP benefits, any kind of WIC. We have WIC in Tennessee, which is specifically to help poor young families or poor families who have a new baby. You can get formula through it. You can get help with diapers and things like that. All of the incredibly expensive stuff that comes with having a baby. But yeah, it is. Yeah, the people who want to gut those social safety nets are the same people saying abortion is murder. And it makes no sense to me. It's like you don't care about the quality of this child's life. You don't care what kind of chaos it grows up in. You don't care if this child ends up neglected or abused or simply just doesn't get a good start in life because its mother is working 4 jobs just to make rent every month and buy food. Like what? It's baffling to me. And yeah, you're precisely right. They aren't pro-life. They're anti-abortion. They're pro-birth, and after that, they don't care. And I don't understand it. I don't understand it from I mean, I know the dogma from the religious perspective, but I don't. If you're supposed to love all people, and if there is such a thing as the sanctity of human life, and if you care, then shouldn't you care all the way? I don't know. Anyway. Oh, WIC does not cover diapers, only food. Thank you, Catnip. Sorry, my bad. It's been a long time. It's been a while since any of my friends had babies, so thank you. Thank you for the correction. Yeah, please feel free to correct me. Oh my gosh. Hissy? What are you talking? Wait, whoa, hang on. I'm missing something amazing. All right. Roman Catholic doctrine is to prioritize the life of the carrier. That's why there's the loophole for cancer care. Oh, or danger. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. They will let you do that for the danger. And yes, that bit's interesting too, about having to have your husband's permission. Yes, wow. Okay. Oh no, the transformed wife. What is she saying now? This fucking bitch. Not you, Hissy, the transformed wife. I'm bringing up Hissy's comment. The transformed wife talked someone out of an abortion. They abandoned it and put her down as the preferred carer for the baby, and she freaked. Good. Oh, okay, fine. You want it? Take it. Enjoy. Enjoy having a newborn in your 50s in the house. That's going to be fun for you. I bet she flaked. I bet Lori Alexander flaked, didn't she? I seriously doubt she adopted that child. I kind of secretly love it if she did, because I just want to imagine her not getting any sleep for the next year. She's so horrible. Don't read The Transformed Wife like without a stiff drink, because it's, oh God, her blog, it's rough. I actually can only read parts of it. I basically watch other YouTubers tear it down, and that's all I can take, because if I've tried reading it just on my own, and I find myself wanting to throw shit, and that's not good. I've been very good about not throwing stuff since I got on the right meds, so don't like things that make me want to throw shit. She did. She flaked. Oh my God. Of course she did. Well, I guess her morals just weren't really as strong as she thought. Oh God. Okay, so just for if you haven't seen it already, just to bookend all of this, it's 3:04, so I'm gonna wrap it up. If anybody has any questions, please at me in the chat. Yeah, I'm gonna end it with, if you want some existential dread involving a hyperbolic, sure, and fictional, but also I think very important to look at, as I love speculative fiction and alternate history fiction. So if you haven't read Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale, or haven't seen the show on Hulu, it's really well done. It's not easy. It's not easy to watch. It's rough. So some people can't watch it. I get that. I know a couple of guys who can't watch it because they're like, too much rape. I tried really hard, too much rape. And that is a thing. So, but it's a beautifully written, beautifully acted, excellent continuity. It's quite good. So, so check that out if you want to see how bad shit could get in theoretically. Ooh. Okay. Well, I think that's everything. Yep. If Let's see if I can do this like a professional. Feel free to laugh. Oh, hey, okay. Lone Wanderer. I'm about to crack her new book. Open the sequel. Yes! Margaret Atwood wrote a sequel called The Testimonies, I believe, or The Testaments. I think it's The Testaments. To Handmaid's Tale. Yes, and it's so on my list. It's so on my list. I want that book badly. So yeah. Yeah, when things are a little less, you know, and because I ordered Seth's new book back when I was furloughed, so it was that was a slightly, and that wasn't that expensive anyway. But yeah, we'll definitely find room for. I think it's the Testaments by Margaret Atwood. It's kind of cool. It's like art, inspiring art. Like her book inspired this TV show, which in turn inspired her to write a sequel to her book that she wrote decades and decades and decades ago. So it's really neat. Okay, so if you enjoyed this, please hit that like button. I think all of you are subscribed, and thank you so much. It means so much. Thank you so much, Lone Wanderer. Thank you, A Bit of Tea and Danish, for being my patrons. You're fantastic. I am going to figure out a way to put the scroller on the bottom so that I can show you all off. And I know it's going to be super late in the UK, and it's a work night. So if I don't see... you know, my lovely folks from the UK or I have no idea what time it's going to be in Australia and New Zealand. I don't know. But if I don't see y'all at 5 o'clock, I understand. 5 o'clock my time, I understand. If you are here, yay! Awesome. All right. And so with that, oh, Microraptor says, morals are for other people. For her, they're optional. Going back to the Lori Alexander thing. Yes, agreed. Agreed, sir. I don't know. Sorry. I hope I didn't just misgender you, Microraptor. All right. Well, thank you all so much. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And remember, whether it's in a can, a box, or a glass, you won't find truth in wine, but you may find it in reason. Love from Memphis.